Hello everyone and good morning. I am out here early today to sow some more seeds. It's been so nice this week. I am so grateful for this weather. You can even hear the birds chirping in the background. I'm just so happy. Finally, it's time to be back in the garden again. I'm here with my coffee and I decided to grab a few other seeds to start today. Got my soil already in here. Planning to do some more cool weather crops. As you saw in the previous video, I have started hardening off some of my other seedlings that are getting a little bit bigger. They're down there in the greenhouse right now. I have some lettuce, some bok choy, some spinach, some flowers that I want to put up soon, and I'm going to be doing a second batch of a few of them, sort of like a succession planting style. I'm trying to kind of stagger the planting so I don't have to harvest everything at once. I'm gonna have the first batch of bok choy, and then in a couple weeks I can have some more, and then it can kind of feed us consistently. I am trying to dedicate both of these green stalks for cool weather crops and things that I use the most in the kitchen. So some lettuces, some greens will always be good to grow there. I'm starting some kale now. I have some kale that's overwintered. I think you can see it from here. It's looking okay. It has some new growth in there, but it's quite small still. And I think it's gonna go to flower because it's since last year, and I think it's going to bolt in the spring and send center stock. I'm not sure, so I'm planting some more kale just in case. I have planted some purple kale, some scarlet kale that I have saved my own seeds from last year. I have a video actually on that too that I can link in the description down below if you're curious. And I planted some in there. They still look pretty green since they haven't got a lot of natural sunlight yet, but they get very nice and dark purple once they stay out. So to start here, let me just show you a few things that I'm planning to start. Those two here, this choysum and this Chinese broccoli. I have direct sold some Chinese broccoli to get in my raised beds. The one you saw me planting, I just put a few seeds in there, and it says it's recommended to direct sow, but I don't know. Sometimes when I sow in a raised bed, I always feel there's animals that come. I'm not sure if they're gonna germinate or not. So I am going to direct sow some and just see how they do, since I never planted this before. I've eaten this both and I really enjoy eating them, but I have never planted them before. So I'm doing a little experiment and see how they do when I put them out. This choysum is really cool because you're supposed to eat it with the flowers when it bolts, so you don't have to worry about your brassicas bolting. But it's also a very fast crop. You can see here it's 50 days, so it should be ready to harvest quite soon. I also sold some radishes. They're down there in a pot. I have some French breakfast hard radish and some watermelon radish. Those are going to be a fast crop too. The French breakfast radish is going to be ready to harvest in about 20 days, so let's fingers crossed it'll be good. But the watermelon radish, the one with the red meat inside, it takes a little longer. It's about 60 days, so I knew that already, and I'm leaving that, dedicating that planter for that, because I love eating watermelon radish and adds such a beautiful color for plating and everything too. So back to this. So with those two, I'm also going to do some Japanese mustard. I was not sure. I got this as free seed last year. I don't even think I added this to my grow list this year. That's been ever growing, as you've been seeing. That's normal. Always happens. I like to make a plan in the beginning so I feel good and I kind of have an idea where things go, but then as things progress and move, I add things here and there. It's natural, part of the process. So this is going. I'm gonna plant some of these too. I have already planted some of this baby bok choy and purple lady bok choy. They're hardening off right now. I'm gonna plant a second wave of them. I'm gonna plant some tatsoi and some sweet chard, because my sweet chard that I planted with the first batch did not germinate, so I'm gonna give it a try again. I really want to have some of those beautiful colors in the garden. All right, start with this, and I also wanted to do herbs and flowers today if I have space. Kind of free-flowing today here, planning as I go, but I want to do an experiment with some of the flowers too. I know that you're not supposed to transplant sunflowers, but last year when I planted sunflowers in the pot, the birds ate some of the seeds, and I was watching a few YouTube videos, and some people say that they do start sunflowers indoors. So I might not start them in this flat over here because it's small, but I might give them a bigger pot. But I'm planning to plant these sunflowers here today too. This beautiful double sunflower, this chocolate sunflower, evening sun sunflower, and this pro cut plum. Now it is too early. I'm taking a risk here. I'm not going to plant all my sunflowers now. I also want to try to stagger the planting of some of them. I'm doing a first batch now just as an experiment. Okay, it's not time to plant warm water crops yet if you're not used to gardening. And I I just want to see how they would do, try to do them from transplant. And in April, which is just around the corner now, I'm going to direct sow some of them, but hopefully I can keep up with my planting schedule. That's been ever changing too, but that's the plan for now. Okay, I reserve the right of changing my mind later, but I'm gonna do those 3 over here. I also wanted to plant my zinnias because I'm so excited for zinnias. I can't wait. Actually, I think I left my seeds inside, so those zinnias later. So then we're gonna do herbs, and the field herbs, I have oregano already growing there, is waking up. Everything is waking up on the green stalk. It's so exciting. I just looked this morning, the sage has some new growth, the thyme has some new growth, so even the lavender in there I saw from my window from my bedroom had some new growth, and the mint is also waking up. The chives are already pretty big. I have to take a breath. I'm getting too excited. So back to herbs. I am going to be planting some garlic chives, that the ones I had that didn't germinate last year. Maybe a different parsley. I have a very cold hardy parsley that has been super hardy in there. I think I also didn't add this to my grow list, but I had the seeds and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try to just do a few more to put around the garden. I heard the parsley is also pescatarian, so it's good to have them everywhere, so that's why I'm planting more. And I'm doing some of this basil. My basil kind of took a little time to get going last year, that's why I want to start early, but they're all living indoors until the weather warms up. And I'm gonna do some mint, some of this fennel. The mint I'm gonna do in a separate container, not on this one. And the cumin that I'm very excited I never grew before. More basil, so much basil. Including this new one that I got that is so pretty. And za'atar, lots of stuff, so that's exciting. I'm gonna start by, as always, trying to write my labels. I'm gonna do the scale mix, and I'm also gonna do more spinach because I have some spinach in there, and I don't think it's gonna be enough because I love eating my greens. So I'm gonna plant some more. Now, start with those 2 here. I'm very curious to see if you guys have tried them, if you have had success growing them, if it's okay to transplant them, or it's better to direct sow. I'm going to do 3 seeds in here and see how it goes. Chinese broccoli now. Alright, and for this kale, because it is a variety, a blend, I think I'm gonna dedicate a whole flat to it. Let's see, a whole roll of this seed trays here. It's kind of crazy, but I love kale. And I can always plant some more in the plot garden. I might plant some in the front yard garden too. I haven't had a chance to meet my new neighbors yet, so I don't know if they wanted me to plant anything for them to eat. I really don't mind cherry. I'd love for them to enjoy some of the harvest too. I forgot to show you guys something. My sister sent over with my nieces this cilantro package. My nieces came to visit me last week, and she sent this cilantro there that is heat resistant. Being from Brazil, I always thought it was weird here that cilantro was a cool weather crop, because in Brazil they grow so abundantly in the big hot sun. So I told her that I wanted her to find some seeds that say that they were adapted to the hotter weather, and it says here too in the back in Portuguese, but it says that has a great adaptation to high temperatures and is also resistant to different soil types, or can thrive in different soil types. So I'm excited to grow this and see if it actually going to last me through the summer, because my cilantro always bolts, and I love having cilantro all the time with food. Now I'm gonna move on, just keep with the cool weather theme on this side. Bok choy, the purple lady. I'm gonna do Japanese mustard and 1 roll over here on the cells. Tatsoi and bok choy, the Hawaii kind. Oh, another thing I want to talk about, the Hawaiian seeds. Someone asked me if they would do well here in my climate. I actually have a thought that the cold weather ones, this and the Chinese, might do better here, because not better than there, but better than the seeds that I have, because Hawaii is warm, it's tropical. So maybe those are adapted to a little bit of warmer conditions too, and they would take a little longer to both. I don't know. Let's see. It's gonna be a fun experiment to do this year too. So I'm excited to also learn about that. Let me get this labels going here, and just so 1 more roll of the seed tray. Now, last one actually, sorry, didn't do all of them. Tatsoi. No, I actually have a tatsoi label on my green stock because I tried planting some tatsoi last year that never germinated. I'm going to throw the rest of these leaves in there, these seeds in there. I will water that stuff all after I finish this, so don't worry about that. I have only grown this variety of spinach. It's called Bloomsdale. I always think Bloomingdale because that's the store. Bloomsdale spinach, and this 5-color silver beet. Do you have a favorite spinach or sweet chard variety that you recommend? I would love to hear that in the comment section down below. I liked this one last year and did so good that I didn't want to buy a different variety, plus I have so many seeds, but love to hear if there's any spinach that you're crazy about and that tastes really good or grows really well. Now let me just make these labels real quick again. So if you haven't watched my sowing tomato seeds video, I like to just lay my seeds on the ground on the top of the soil first, then push them down, so I kind of know that they're there. I didn't forget to put them. Okay, and after this too, cumin and bronze fennel, because I have never grown either one of them, and I am scared that they're not going to do well. Every time I have not grown something, I have no idea how they're going to do. I feel like little anxious about it. Drop your tips in the comment section down below too if you have any tips for me. This one is a bronze fennel. It's kind of cool. It's a different color. I'm very excited to use for some medicinal purposes as well. I heard it's really good for tea. I'm only labeling fennel because it's the only kind of fennel that I'm growing. Cumin. I'm very excited for cumin because I cook so much with cumin, and I am not having super high expectations for cumin this year because it's my first time. That's the thing too. I love when I experiment something for the first year. I just know that's going to be a learning year. I'm learning about its conditions, how it grows, if it did well, if it didn't, and I don't get super disappointed if it doesn't work. I just take it as a learning lesson. But I feel that's important to have that mindset when you're growing something new. So I helped a few people gardening last year for the first time, and they got discouraged because things didn't work out perfectly the first time. And I tried to say that it's better to go in with a mindset that I'm just gonna see how it goes, and I'm gonna try. I'm still gonna nourish and plan to do the best I can with this, but I also know that I'm learning and that things can happen, and I'm just gonna make the best out of it. What is this? That's always my approach. All right, fennel. Now, putting this back here, I'm gonna do parsley and holy basil. These seeds are so tiny. Look at this. Oh, I'm just gonna suffer so this is too hard to even grab. Let's see how it goes. Cilantro now. My aunt actually said, I have a aunt that's a farmer in Brazil, that cilantro grows really in bunches. She told me to put about 15 seeds in one hole. That's crazy. She dry sows everything. They don't do all this. It's always warm in there, so they never have the seedling trays. But she says she puts them in the ground and she puts a bunch of seeds in a hole, and it gives like this huge plant that could have a lot of branches. I'm not gonna do 15 seeds, but I'm going to kind of put a few seeds in there since my sister actually got me 3 packages of this. She wanted to make sure I have enough, so I have a lot of seeds. So I'm gonna follow my aunt's advice and kind of put a lot per hole. Oh, this one came with another pack. Oh, the first time I got a seed from Brazil. They're so exciting. See how many seeds come in. Oh, there's a lot of seeds in here. Cilantro seeds, of course, I'm sure you guys are familiar if you cook, do a lot of cooking with them. So I'm gonna do this one. I'm going to poke a hole in it. Since these seeds are really big, I'm just going to use one of these guys and poke a hole. I'm gonna put this whole thing of cilantro. No, maybe just 3. Just 3 is fine. I put a lot of cilantro seeds in my hand, but let's see. I feel weird about this, but let's see how it goes. Just gonna go ahead and sow the rest of these herbs now. I decided to put some of the za'atar and the garlic chives over there, and it looks like I'm gonna have some space to sow my zinnias. I want to decide to grab the seeds real quick. And the one that I'm mostly excited for is this. It's so beautiful. I've never seen a zinnia like this before. I've seen dahlias like this before, so I'm super excited for this one. Really hoping that will do well in my garden. Good thing that zinnia packages usually come with a lot of seeds, because I'm definitely going to be doing some experiments this year. I've been watching this channel that does a lot of cut flowers, and it's so beautiful. I love to have some space to do some cut flowers too, but let's see how it goes in this garden. Some of my flowers do well. I'd love to make some bouquets for the home. I stopped practicing. I've never really made bouquets before, but this girl just teaches how to assemble a bouquet and how to combine the flowers. It's just so awesome. So it's inspiring me to want to grow cut flowers too. Hopefully I have some luck with these zinnias that I can at least make enough for myself to put inside my own house. Since I already grew these last year, that's the one here. This time I'm just gonna do one because these two just look too similar. And looks like I also have space here to do some of the sunflowers. I'm just gonna go ahead and put it in here too, even though I said I might put it in a bigger pot. Feeling experimental today. So I'm gonna sow some of the sunflowers in here too and see how they do. Starting with the zinnias. Alright, I'm done. I'm just gonna go ahead now and push these seeds in, cover it a little bit more soil if needed, and make sure that the top layer is very nice and moist. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today, for watching, for this little chat while I'm sowing some more seeds for the garden. I really appreciate you being here. Don't forget to like this video if you can. I hope you're having a great day, and I'll see you next time. My coffee got cold.